Hello there and welcome to my ICT Hub. This is John, your ICT tutor, where I make ICT concepts easier. Today I will be solving the presentation application of the May June 2024 paper 2-2 ICT paper. If you're ready, let's get started with the question. Okay, this is the Cambridge IGCSE Information and Communication Technology 0417 paper 2-2. It's a paper that combines three different applications: practical paper, that's document production, database, and presentations. I've produced videos on the document production and database, so you could check out on the description below to find the links to those videos, which will be very helpful for you. Right now we are going to the presentation application. Let's go down to that page. Okay, here we are on the presentation. That's the task 5. Now let's go through the question and start right away. You are going to create a short presentation. We know that a presentation, basically a file in the PowerPoint, is a presentation file. So we have to we're creating a number of slides following the instructions as given to us. All slides must have a consistent layout and formatting, meaning the layout has to do with the arrangement of the different contents on a slide, and the formatting has to do with the look. Now, the document we will be working with already has a layout, and it's expected that for consistency, your layout and your formatting should rhyme. That's why it says it must have a consistent formatting. Question 18 to start with now says, create a presentation of 6 slides using the file this. Now we are not creating a new presentation. We are using the file j2422study.rtf. We are not starting a new slide from the scratch. This slide, a document has been created which we will be importing into the PowerPoint environment to use to create this presentation. Take note of this file name. You notice it ends with the extension RTF, which means rich text format. If you go to the source files where we have the file, here it is. Okay, now take a look at this file. From the icon you can see it's a document production file that will be opened with the Microsoft Word application, rich text format. So even if I right click on it to try and use the open with, the options given is going to be Word, because by default the rich text format is either opened with the Word application or the WordPad. So you don't want to double click on it. I tell my students, if at all you have to open up the file in the document production application, please ensure you do not edit anything in that file, and remember to close it back if you make the mistake of opening it. Because if you open the file, when you want to open it in PowerPoint, it will be conflicting that two applications cannot access the same file at the same time. Okay, so what you want to do rather is to open your PowerPoint. Okay, here we are on PowerPoint. Then you want to use the open command. Here we have open, and browse to where the file is stored. Stored on my desktop. Now, here you are going to see that none of the file is displayed here, because by default the PowerPoint application expects to open a .ppt file, that is extension .powerpoint file or pptx. But since we are opening a rich text format file, you have to come to this option here and select all files, meaning it should display all the files in that folder. Then we try and locate the file we are working with, that is study.rtf, and then you click on open. Now that way PowerPoint can now read the files and place all the documents in the different slides, just like we have seen it here. Okay, so now we have the slides open. We can create the slide. If you take a look at it right now, we have 6 slides, just like the question says. Let's take a look at the question again. Create a presentation of 6 slides. So we already have 6 slides. Let's move on and see what we need to do. All slides must display a title and a bulleted list. Let's take a look at that. Now the layout, like I said, has to do with the arrangement of the content of the slide. Now the title, it says all slides must display a title, and a bulleted list. You can see the first slide, the second slide has the same layout, the third has the same layout, the fourth slide the same layout, the fifth slide, and the sixth slide. So which means we are in order. All slides has a title layout and a bulleted list. Let's now go on with the question. Question 19, it says, use a master slide to display only the following features. Now, when we talk about master slide, it's one of the views where you have access to be able to edit things that look like they are not movable. Fixed content, you could fix some things and will not be edited on the normal presentation interface. You could go behind to fix things such that you don't have to keep duplicating them. You fix on one slide and it reproduces on all other slides. Let's take a look at what that view is. If you come to the view menu, here you have the slide master tool. Okay, under the master views, we click on the slide master. Now, the first slide you will find yourself in this view is the layout where you left out from. Take a note, if you notice, this is the layout with the title and the bulleted list. Unlike all other layouts, you will notice they are all listed there. But when you want to work on the master slide, you don't work on these slides. These ones are more like they came out from this master slide. This is the parent slide, the main slide master, while others are now layouts that come out from this design, because these different layouts are designs from this master slide. So when you want to work on something that would have effect on all the slides, except you want to work on a particular slide layout and you want to create a design just for that layout, then you could come to the specific layout you want to work with. But when you are making the changes that should affect all the slides, you want to work on this parent slide, that is the slide master. Okay, now let's check what we are told to do. The first thing says we should have a thick black 3 to 4 point wide horizontal line across the full width of the slide. Full stop. All right, now let's try and get that done. You want to go to insert. That's home. And you want to draw a line. So you are picking shapes and you pick the line tool. To draw a horizontal line that is going to be perfectly horizontal, you want to hold down your shift key, then you click and drag across. You can see, even though I try to move my mouse, it's not going to, because I'm holding down the shift key and I've dragged that across. The same thing happens if you want a vertical horizontal line. You could just pick the line tool and hold down your shift key, and when you drag across, it's going to give you a straight vertical line. But let's take that out because I don't want that for now. Let's go back to this line. Now it says it's going to be a 3 point to 4 points black. First, let's make it black. Then we want the thickness, that is the weight of the line. It says between 3 to 4. So we have 3, this is 4.5. So we go with the 3 points. Now that's the line across. What are we going to do with that line? Let's continue this question. It says position this line above the slide title about 3 centimeters from the top. Stop there, the second sentence. It should be above the slide title about 3 centimeters from the top. Now let's go back to our presentation, still on the slide master. Take note, whatever you do here, you can see it will affect on all other slides. You can see the line is drawn. It is visible on all other slides. That's why I say whatever you want to be repeated on all the other slides, you have to do it on this slide master. Then it will take effect on all other slides. Now we want this line above what says about 3 centimeters. Now, I might not be able to measure perfectly with this ruler, but what you can do on the other hand is you can insert another line. You just be creative with that. Pick a vertical line. Let's hold down the shift key and draw that line. Then come to your measurement, that is the vertical height, and let's make it 3 centimeters. Now the line has readjusted to that length which we want, which is the 3 centimeters. I can now move it to the top of my page, of my slide rather. Okay, and that will act as a measurement for me where this line should stop. So let's bring the line just below it. Good. So now that is about 3 centimeters. And remember, it says it should be above the slide title. So we are going to be moving down this other content. Let's bring this down a little bit. Okay, let's bring this down also. Let me take it down completely because it should be above it. Then I want to reduce this. Okay, all right, and there we have that. That is done. It's above it as the question requires. Now make sure the line does not overlap any slide data. Now if you take a look at it, let's look at through all the layouts. It does not. Okay, here it is overlapping. But to be more specific, I prefer you check within the document, not in the layouts here. So let's take away this line which was used to measure, and let's go and check if it's overlapping any data or not. Close your master slide. Okay, here we are on the first slide, the second, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth. All right, so it's not overlapping any of the slide data. Let's go back to our view because we are still working on the slide master. Remember, you have to work on the first parent slide. Now let's go on with that. It says above the line, enter the text organic crop farming. Let me copy that text in a 32-point font, black font, I beg your pardon, aligned to the top right of the slide. Make sure the text does not wrap or overlap the title. Okay, now we are placing this as a 32 point and it is black. So to insert a text there, you want to first insert a text box. I could get a quick text box from here and I want to draw it at the top right. Then I'm going to paste the text there. Now it says it should be black in color, so I'm going to change my text to black and I'm going to make it 32 points. Now it says it should not wrap, and this is already wrapped, so I want to enlarge this. Okay, now that text top right is there. Okay, we are not given anything about the font, so we have it in there. Let's reconfirm. We have our 32 points and it's black in color. The next bullet says automatic slide number on the top left. Okay, still on the slide master, we want the automatic slide number here at the top left. There are two ways you can do that. Here you can see the default automatic slide number, which is always placed there in the slide master. You can make use of this. I'm going to use the 2 so you can see. If you want to use this, you bring that box up there. You could reduce the size. But before you leave there, you have to come to turn on the slide. So we go to the slide numbers. Here we have date and time, and here we have the slide number. So you have to turn on the slide number here for you to be able to make use of that. So when you turn on this, you say apply to all. I always like it to be very visible, so I advise my students to enlarge the font. Okay, and you might want to make it black in color. Let's take a look at that if it is going to be visible on our slides. Okay, you can see there at the top left, and it's visible on all the slides. So let's go back to slide master. Before we leave, it says your name, center number, and candidate number also, but where it should be placed is not specified. So if you take a look at, all right, this is the first way. Sorry, I said I was going to show you 2 ways. This is the first way using the slide number. I could also insert a text box, whichever one works faster for you. I kind of like this text box. Just draw your text box, go to insert, still on the slide number, and this time you want to click on insert slide number. You can see it's in there. That's very quick. I don't have to check any box. I don't have to click apply to all. Once it's on the slide master here, it will be visible on all the slides. Let's take a look at it. Can you see we have the 2? So whichever one you are okay with, I want to take this away since I already have this. I can take this away. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. Since this is 32, I could go with 20 for this. All right. Your name, center number, and candidate number. This is going to be the footer. So instead of the footer, now let me move the footer away. because I didn't turn it on, so it wouldn't have any effect wherever I place it. I'm going to use a text box instead this time. I'm going to draw a text box, place that at the bottom. I call that John and G. And then your candidate's number. So let's break that into the slide because it's kind of going out of slide. All right, now that is located there. Let's take a look. There it is on all the slides. Okay, so let's go back here. Now once that is done, you want to return back to the slide master menu and close your slide master. Here we have our slide number, we have the title, and you have your detail. Let's check through if it's on all slides. Is it overlapping? Okay, no, it's not. But taking a look at this, I think I'll prefer this to be at the right here so that we don't have it close to each other. So let's quickly go back to a slide master view. And let's return back here and move this to the right of the page. Of the slide, I beg your pardon. Okay, so I have that placed at the right. Okay, looks kind of better there. Let's close it. Yes, so it doesn't have to cause any conflict with any content on the slide. Let's move on to the next question. Now it says make sure your master slide item appears in the same position on every slide. That is done, and no items overlap on any slide. We've checked that and we are certain that is done. We go to the next aspect of this question, which is where you have to draw the chart. The IGCSE question always tests first on how your ability to use the slide, that is to edit your slide, then your ability to import a document. Oftentimes we have been tested on links, that is using links or action buttons, and once in a while you could also be tested on audio, inserting audio or video, but you will be tested on how to insert an object into your slide. So let's go on now. Here we have to draw a chart. Use the data in the file j2422area.csv to create a vertical bar chart. Okay, so we want to locate that file. We go to our source file. Here we have it. It's a CSV file that is a comma separated value, and it will be opened with a spreadsheet application program. Okay, there we have the file open there. Let's close this. I want to make this visible, so highlight everything and double click in between. All right, it's fully visible. I don't need this heading. Let me bring this in. Okay, let's go back to the question. Now, what do we have to do? Now, we are creating a vertical bar chart, but the question is, what are the data we will be using? That's why we are back here. This must compare the size of the organic farmland by the region for only the years 2013 and 2023. Display with labels. All right, let's quickly go back there. Here we have 2013 and here we have 2023, which are the two aspects where we are to compare the farmlands with. Now, before you would draw a vertical chart, I always advise this cell, which is the intersection of the title here and the details here, should be taken out because you might not need that. Let me do it first so you can see what I mean. If you highlight this too, let's just use this as an example, and you go to insert a chart. Okay, you're going to have this situation because it's picking the region as one of the values, which is not what you want. So that's why it's better you keep that. Just delete what you have here, make that blank. Okay, then you can highlight this too. Now, how do I highlight 2023? Hold down your control key on your keyboard and click and highlight this quickly, and that is selected. Then we go to insert the vertical bar chart, and there we have it, just the way it should be. Okay, now once that is done, let's go back to the question. What are the contents we are going to insert? The first thing says the regions on the category axis display with labels First is the regions on the category axis. Then we have the values on the value axis. And then a legend showing the years. Okay, take notes. The category axis is the x-axis, that is the horizontal axis. This is the category axis. Let me take away my bar for now. This is the category axis. And here we have this is the value axis, which is the vertical axis. So it says on the category axis what should be displayed. The regions on the category axis. If you take a look at this, we have the regions. Africa, see, already displayed on the category axis as requested. Then we have on the value axis just the values. Okay, here we have the values exactly. And lastly, a legend showing the years. All right, here we have our legend turned on showing the years. But in case you don't have this turned on, how do you do that? If your legend was not turned on, you could come to this plus sign beside your chart. Click on the plus for other details which you could or other chart elements you can turn on. Here if you want to look for the legends, here you have the legend. If you uncheck this, you can see this is what your chart will look like without the legend. Then you could just come and check this and the legend will be displayed. Now it is displayed to the right, but it's not specific on where it should be, either at the bottom or the right. But if it is specific, you can still follow the arrow, and here you can select where you want the legend to be displayed. At the bottom, you want it at the left, you want it at the top, you want it at the right. Well, I think I like it look nice at the bottom there. Oh, so you decide. If I keep it at the right, I think it will not conflict with the label that should be here for the category axis. All right, so I'm okay with that. Now let's move on. It says label the chart with a chart title. Okay, I want to copy this chart title. It's regional distribution of organic farmlands. So we copy that title. Here we have chart title. Select. You can double click on it to select all. Then I paste all. In your situation, you will be typing in that in the exam condition. So you just ensure you type the accurate thing in there. On the value axis, we want the charts labeled with this. Now remember, the value axis again is the vertical axis. So here we need a chart label and it's not there. So what do? You click on your plus and you want to look for your data labels. So here we have our labels. You want to turn it on. Okay, sorry, this is for the data, not the data labels. You want to look for the axis title. Pardon me. So we turn on the axis title exactly. So we have here. Let me take away what is there and paste that in there. Okay. We were not given any title for this, so you want to delete this one. All right. Now let's move on. Next thing says displays only the data. Display the data values above each bar, and format all the data labels to display one decimal place. Okay, that's what we did initially. So you want to turn on the data labels above each bar. When I turn that on, now you can see that it's displayed in multiple decimal places, and that's why you are told to have single decimal place. So I could just double click on it, and here you have this. There's your plus. You can come down, and then we want to click on this drop down for the number. You want to reduce the decimal, change the type from general to a number. Okay. Then you want to reduce your decimal place to 1. The formats, okay, and you can see. All right, so we have 1 decimal place. Then we have to do the same with this other one, the other data here. The numbers, you change the number to numbers. Then you can also change your decimal place to 1 and display it, okay, just the way we need it. Okay, then we can close this and let's go back to the next thing. Now the next question says format the value axis. Remember, value vertical. The vertical axis, that's the value axis. Scale to display a minimum value of 0, a maximum value of 42, and increments of 7, 0, 42, and 7. Now, one good thing about the chart here is if you have to edit any aspect of the chart, you could just double click on it. If I have to edit this, you double click and you will see details about it. If I want to edit this, just like what we did, double click on any aspects. Now I want to work on these values, so just double click on these values. Let me close this first to format that. If I double click on it, it's not yet selected. Pardon me. Okay, let's close this. I have to select this first, then I double click on it, and you can have that. Okay, now even if this doesn't quickly work, you can still right click on it. Make sure you selected it, you right click and format the axis. Then you still come down to this. Now remember, it says the minimum value should be 0, the maximum should be 42, and the increment is the major here, so we are making that 7. Here you can see we have the maximum is 42, the minimum is 0, and the increment of 7, just as the question requested of us. Okay, so we can move on with that. Let's go to the next question. The next question says, place the chart. Okay, we are done with that chart. So now you have to move the chart to the presentation. That is somewhere on your slide where it will be specified. Now, so you are done editing the chart, we are placing the chart to the left of the bullets on the slide with the title Global Statistics. So let's take a look at that. First, let's locate the slide Global Statistics. Okay, here it is. It should be placed to the left of this slide. So that means to create space for that, you have to reduce these bullets, move them to the right. Okay, you want to give sufficient space for that. Okay, then you could just click on your chart. Make sure you click on the outline, not any of the contents within the chart, and you copy it. I'm very fond of. Okay, either you do that or use your shortcut Ctrl+C. Then we want to go to the slide. Click on the slide, this blank space there, and paste it in there. Okay, you use the shortcut Ctrl+V, or you could right click, or you could even use this tool. Let me take this out and just paste, and it will still paste it in there. Now you want to make it visible, so let's enlarge that chart. Okay, make it visible enough. All right, so that chart is in there. The next question now, it says make sure that no words are split, all data and labels are fully visible, the chart and the contents do not overlap any slide item. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. You can see we don't have any word splits. Okay, yes, no words are split, the labels are fully visible, the title, and it's not overlapping on the text. So we are good to go. Let's zoom back. Okay, so here we have this slide. And the next question says, add the following texts as presenter or speaker notes to the slide with the title Global Statistics. Now we want to add this text. Once again, you would have to type this and ensure you are typing this accurately if you're in the exam condition. For me, I can copy this and let's go and place that in that slide. Still on Global Statistics, this same slide. Here you can see we have the presenter notes already opened here. But peradventure you find yourself in a situation where you can't find the presenter notes. It's very simple. Just go to your views. Because this has been turned on, look at it under the slides, we have notes. If I turn off this, it's not going to be visible. So what you want to do is just come to your notes and click on this tool, Notes, under the slides group, and the presenter notes will be visible. Then you can type what you want in there or paste that there. Okay, and that will be done. Print only this slide as presenter or speaker notes. Now, this has to do with how we print our slide. So you want to go to File, and I'm going to click on the print option. Now in the print option, we were not told the layout, whether it should be portrait or landscape. But for the view of the slide, I advise you go with the landscape view. So now once we've selected that, you can see your orientation is, it's already had it in just the way the slide should be. And the selection here is not for all slides. You just want to either use the current slide or you want to use the slide number. For me, let's go back. The slide number was, here we have, this is the current slide. Okay, select something and the slide number is 2. So let's say for the current slide, click on print. Okay, here I have my current slide, please. I selected custom slide the other time. Okay, we have current slide and it's displayed there, or you're just going to type slide 2 there and it will be displayed there. Then you can print out. If you have your printer connected to your computer, you can go ahead and print. But there are other options in the printing. We will look at that when we get to the different types of handouts which we can also print. So for now, we are printing as a full page. You select. I advise my students to always print first in PDF so that you can see what it will look like before your final printing. So if you select the printer Microsoft PDF from the options, if you are using a Microsoft computer, okay, for you, then you can print out. This is going to be printout 4. Okay, so I'm going to give this printout 4. That's for the presentation. And let's save that. Now let's take a look at what that printout will look like. Okay, so I have printout 4. Okay, here it is, fully visible. Yes, all parts of the slide are fully visible, just the way it should be. We have about 3 centimeters from the top, and that is how that will be printed. Now let's continue on the question. Oh, pardon me. There's an instruction here. It says print only this slide as presenter or speaker notes. Sorry, I selected just a full slide. It should be a speaker note. So when you come to print, you are changing this option. So here it has full page. Here we have the notes page. So if you select this, this is actually the correct selection. Now this is going to be showing both the slide and the speaker notes. Here you can see the orientation. We are not giving the orientation whether it should be landscape. If it's landscape, this is what it should be like. And if it is in portrait, so I'll go with portrait and then we print this. Oh, beg your pardon. So please, it's very important you read your questions properly and ensure you are doing the right thing so you don't give the wrong answer. So there we print out 4. I want to replace this. Okay, now let's check what this looks like. Okay, here it is. We have the slide and we have the notes all fully visible on that printout. Afterwards, you can print this on your printer that is attached to your computer. Save the presentation and print all slides in portrait orientation with 6 slides to the page. Okay, so you want to go back to the presentation. It's saved. We save that. Give it a file name. I want to save that on my desktop. I'll give it a file name. May June 24. Paper 2. Okay. Alright, now that is saved. And now I'm to print it with 6 slides. So here I'm changing the page number, not just that slide. I want to print all the slides. Okay, all the slides selected. And how am I printing? Here we have in the different handouts, we have 1, we have 2 slides, 3, 4, and the question says 6. So you are selecting 6. And also take note, you have either the portrait or the landscape orientation, but the question says we are in the portrait orientation. Let's confirm that. Print all slides in portrait orientation. So the orientation given specified there is portraits, and you can see we have the 6 slides all listed out. If it is 4 slides, this is what it's going to look like. For 4 slides, you're going to have only 4, but the question says 6, so you are going with 6 slides. And once again, you can print it in PDF so you can see what it looks like first. That is going to be your printout 5. Okay. Beg your pardon. Like I already have print out 5. Let me give the 6. Guess I printed out something as 5 before now. Okay, let's give it print out 6. Okay, and let's check what that printout looks like. Print out 6. Okay, and here we have it fully displayed. Okay, so it's just on a single page and all your 6 slides are displayed out there. So please, before you carry out work, normally it's always advised that the system you are using ensure the date and the time is always the accurate date and time of the examination, so that you do not have a wrong display of this data and could be taken as exam malpractice. But it's very rare before you're going to have such an malpractice, but it's always safer because your invigilators are always there with you. So it's always safer that you set your time accurately, ensure your time and date on your system is accurate. Okay, once that is done, let's go back to question, and that will be all. So once you have done with that, you've been able to complete this question. If you have any questions, I'm going to drop the link to the question paper and to the source files in the description below. Please, like I always advise, learn to practice out the questions yourself, try it out yourself, and be sure that you are confident enough to be able to do it in the exam condition, and then you will be good to go. On that note, we come to the end of this video. If you like what you've watched, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that anytime I drop a video, you will be notified. If you have any questions, please feel free to either send me a mail through my email on the welcome introduction page, or you could drop your questions in the description and I will take note of it and be sure to respond to your comments. Alright, on that note, have a nice time. See you next time.